Welcome to Chronic Love, a supportive space for people with chronic illness. I'm Robin, a psychologist in New York City navigating the fallout of a breast cancer diagnosis some years in. And I'm on a personal journey to join together with others who have similarly found themselves facing life challenges in the wake of chronic illness. Together, with the generous humans you're about to meet, we welcome you into our discussions.
I went back to work. I remember I walked in the front door of my building, and my work wife, we call her work wives, she happened to see me, and she was just like, "Are you okay?" I must have been broadcasting it all over my face that I wasn't, because I was just like, "No, I'm not okay. I'm really not okay." I just burst into tears again, and I was like, "It's stage 4." And she just hugged me, and we just stood there for a few minutes while I just sobbed, because I was like, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing right now. Like, I just was like, I don't even know how to process this. I remember being in the hospital, and they were like, your fluid is testing positive for malignancy. And that was like the one time in the hospital that I was alone, because you always have family and stuff like that. And I was grateful to be alone, because I'm usually not I don't like to be very vulnerable in front of people. So I remember just sitting in the hospital bed, like curled up with my knees to my chest, crying, like just a quiet cry to myself while I had a moment alone, because I found out that I had some kind of cancer, and I didn't know what it was, and I remember going through that alone. And I remember the day I came into work after finding out it was stage 4, I was so grateful for her hug. I was so grateful for her hug. I needed that. Frank was away. My family was gone, and I didn't have anybody. And so I was so grateful for that hug. We all have this inner reserve of strength that shows up, when we need it. So I tap into that quite regularly. Like that reserve is something I know exactly where it's at, and I tap into it whenever I need it. And like anybody, I went through my stages of grief where it's like denial, anger, depression, all that. I went through all that kind of stuff, but the type of personality that I have and the type of person that I am, I stay positive. I try to keep positive vibes around me at all times. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a robot. I have moments where I'm like, oh, this is not fair, and there's times where I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah.
But I try to keep positive thoughts. And if I do have moments of negativity, I don't live there. I let them happen. I feel them. I deal with them, and then I move forward, because they're going to happen, and it would be weird if it didn't. So I feel it and I exist in it, but I don't live there. I try to acknowledge it, compartmentalize it, and move forward.
In order to stay positive, there has to be some process to get through those really down moments, right?
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you just began to kind of answer that, that you allow yourself to, it's not a matter of skipping over it to say, I'm not allowed to have these moments of feeling really bad about what's happening in my life. It's not a matter of just like kind of forcing through it and saying, I have to feel positive right now.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's not healthy to pretend it's not there. It's not healthy to ignore it.
Yes.
It does more harm than good to ignore it. So yeah, acknowledge it and compartmentalize it, recognize it for what it is, but don't let it control and dictate your life. Like, you have two options. You can either curl up in a ball and say, boo-hoo, I have cancer, or you can stand back up and say, okay, well, I still have stuff to do. So I'm going to go on ahead and take care of the things I got to take care of, and for me, the idea of curling up in a ball and saying boo-hoo just seemed like absolutely out of my character. Like, it's just not something I'm going to do. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, but I still got to do this, or I got to take care of that. Really, the sadness and the things that happen in the way that I stay positive, it's not just like, oh, be positive. It's more to it than that. You have to actively be positive. You have to work at it. And so one of the ways that I do that is, I've joined a lot of groups on Facebook, the out positive communities and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and support groups and all that. At first I was not with it. I was just like in my own little bubble. I was like, I'm going to get through this and I'm not going to tell anybody. And it's going to be my own little secret. And that's how I'm going to do it. But that changed. These groups, there are people that are just, it's supportive, but there are people in there who have been through so much more than me. There are people who have stage 3, stage 2, people who also have stage 4 and who have seen sides of cancer that I pray I never have to. They've gone through radiation, they've lost hair, they've,
Yeah.
had to have parts of their lungs cut out. They've, gone through things that have never been something that I've had to deal with so far. And I'm grateful for that. And so one of the ways that I stay positive is by being grateful for what I have and what walk I'm on. The fact that I can live my life the way I'm living my life, the fact that I have the things that I have and I've done the things that I've done. I'm blessed in a lot of different ways, and I'm grateful for that. And seeing other people's circumstances and being there for other people in their circumstances really puts it into perspective. I was a keynote speaker at an event for NYU. After I told my story and the audience was all like, you could hear the sniffles and all that kind of stuff in the audience, one of my girlfriends got up to speak and she was just like, so she's like, now that she's told her story, she's like, I think we can all agree that, even though Jaymie has cancer, cancer does not have her. And I was like,
If you're watching this and resonating with any of this, we want you to know that you're not in this alone, that you're never in this alone. Until next time, sending love.
Until next time, sending love.
If any of this has been helpful for you, we welcome you to go ahead and to click the like and subscribe buttons. If you'd like to join us for a candid discussion about your experience with chronic illness, or if you'd like to connect to simply say hello, we welcome you to reach out through any of the social media platforms or through our website, and all of our information is listed below.